Hi everyone, it's Amy here in my art studio, and I'm excited to do this demo to tell you more about my new coloring book, Free Your Spirit. It's filled with my artwork with a lot of different styles, and I'm going to walk you through how you can expand your own creativity and maybe take on some of my ideas. So let's get started. Before you begin, you want to get all your supplies together. And I've listed all of those on page 5 of the coloring book. But just to review quickly, you can go to the dollar store and get a lot of these supplies and not have to invest a lot to get started. You can get markers, highlighters, colored pencils, even a box of crayons. This was $48 for $1. You want to get a couple of styles of paints like this, some paper plates or plastic plates, a jar of water, a couple of cans, and then some brushes as well. I got some great brushes for only $1. A couple of toothbrushes. I love these industrial strength paper towels. I even recycle them and wash them. And this is a tablecloth that's plastic, again from the dollar store, and that will protect your table. You want to make sure you get plenty of rags, and if you like to try, you can get latex gloves to help keep your hands clean. And lastly, you want a smock or some type of a large shirt. This is my favorite. It's full of all my art mojo. It's from college. This is my self-portrait from 1976. So let's get started. So with your colored pencils and markers, let's just turn to the beginning of the book, to this beginnings artwork. I'm gonna just start by adding some blue. Now keep in mind that I'm doing this quickly for the demo. And notice I have my background music without lyrics so that I can just kind of get in the zone once I get going. Now remember, I'm doing this very quickly, but you can see how I'm spreading color throughout. Let's add some green. And I'm just going over the artwork that's there. I'm even creating some blends like that. Let's go with some lavender, light lavender. Let's try orange. So now you can completely stick to your colored pencils and just traditionally use the colored pencils throughout the book. But I really want to encourage you to try opening up to some more creative ideas. For example, these are crayons that really provide a nice, soft amount of color that you can just add in wherever you like. You can even go outside the lines a little bit, so don't be too careful about it all. Let yourself just explore, let yourself kind of go. So you can add colored crayons in there. And now you could start over with a new artwork, or you could even explore adding markers. These highlights work great on top of your colored pencil work. So you can see here how the marker starts to really make those colors pop. So there's some yellow. Try orange, and you can go as detailed as you like, or you can go with broader sweeps of color. Now you can also add some dots with your markers like this. Let's add some purple like that. Now, before I stop, there's a couple of other tips. These brush tip markers are really fun. Now you can have some scratch paper to the side and practice, but do you see how you can get some really pretty confetti-like lines, and you can add those into your book if you like. I guess your art is what I meant to say. Now, at the very end, you could add dots like this. And there you have colored pencils and markers. I really want to encourage you to try painting. There's a few more supplies involved, but you can really access more of your creativity. Notice I still have my background music going on. So I've opened to page 17, releasing 2. Here's my cardboard, and I have an envelope that I'm going to put underneath the page just to kind of protect the art behind it. And then I'm using just simple masking tape. I'm turning over the end, and then I'm putting some lint on the masking tape. This will keep your art in one place. Here we go. And keep it from moving around when you paint. Now the other thing is I've got a larger rag like this, and I'm going to cover this side of my coloring book and even tack that down, just so that you can even tuck it under like that, just so that I'm not getting this side of my coloring book with paints. All right, so we are going to start some great brushes from the dollar store. You want to have a medium size, a large, and then some detail brushes. You want to have a couple of toothbrushes, and then I've brought water up in an applesauce jar because I don't have a spigot in my studio. I've got a couple of paper plates. I've got a couple of plastic credit cards, gift cards that are blank. And then I've also brought a spray bottle. I'm just gonna spray that watercolor so that that'll be soft when we start. And then I've got these tube acrylic paints. So let's start with the watercolor. And what you're gonna do, remember to have some scratch paper nearby, so that way you can always test before you go on to your art. Now I always have a rag in one hand, and I'm cleaning my brush between colors, like that. And you never want to just store your brushes upside down like this, because they will lose their nice shape. So you always want to wash them out and keep them aside. So let's start by using the lighter color, and let's go with some yellow. Let's test it. Yeah, I like that yellow. So you're gonna just start by adding some basic background broad strokes, like that. Then, rinse off. Let's do orange. So you wanna go progressively darker, because then you can be going over your lights like that. Now I'm going quite quickly for this demo, so you will be going a little bit slower. But I just want to show you how by changing the angle on the brush, you can create different strokes, different sizes, and kind of follow along like the art that I've done. Let's go to a medium size and let's add some purple. You can also test your colors on the paper plate like this. So let's add some finer details. And you don't want to have too much water on the paper, because then it might tear. So just be conservative with the amount of water that you use. Now this next trick is really fun. While your paint is still wet, you can scrape the art with these credit cards to get fine details. Or if you, let's say we put some blue down and oh my goodness, it went a little too much. You can scrape that off with these credit cards and then have them with your rag, like that. You can also create linear detail. Let's say we've got some blue up here. So while the paint is still wet, you can add some linear lines like that. Let's go ahead and try this tempera paint. So I encourage you to try different kinds of paints just to see what you like. This is a little thicker, like that, so I can go back in, make some dots, kind of go with your finer detail on your darker colors. Another fun thing you can do is turn the brush around and just add some dots like that. Let's add some pink dots, like that. And a little bit of pink detail. Now you can continue to paint, but a couple other things that you can try. You can even bring in some crayons and add more soft colors. When this is dry, you can add some brush strokes with the brush marker. I'll do some here off to the side like that. You can see how I'm adding just some fun linear detail. And you can also add dots at the very end. These are some black dots, like that. And if you want to bring in a little bit more contrast, you can bring just a regular pencil and just create some finer detail in the background, like that. So that's basically painting. Now I have one last fun tip for you. These toothbrushes I've been using for many years to create spray effects in my art. So you want to practice before you do this, but you just want to get the paint nice and wet and do some little touches of sprays like that. And I like to have a couple of colors of sprays, so we'll get some pink in here. Like that. Don't be afraid to mix your colors as well. And I forgot to practice, but I've been practicing for about 40 years. So there you have painting. So before I go, I have a couple of really great tips I want to leave you with. So let's say some of your artworks just turn out, well, I guess I should say our artworks turn out especially nice. Well, you can carefully remove it from the book and frame it like this. This is just a simple 8x10 frame. You could give this as a gift or just put it around your house. Celebrate your creativity. I really like this one. And lastly, let's say some of your art didn't turn out so great. Well, you can also remove those and cut those up and create little bookmarks like this. So I hope you've enjoyed my demo. I certainly had fun putting it together, and I'll see you next time.